Revit API developer had what seemed like a relatively straightforward question. This file contains an RVT link in which is a floor, and we want to place a face-based family on a face of the floor, just the same way that you can do using the interface as shown here. The code proposed would use a reference intersector in the active 3D view, set find references in Revit links to true, and then use find nearest with an origin at the XYZ 0 point, shoot the ray down in the negative Z direction, get the reference found by this reference intersector, and then use this reference and its global point as inputs to NewFamilyInstance. However, running this macro results in an error saying the reference direction is parallel to the face normal at insertion point. Well, the face normal of this top surface of the floor should be in the positive Z direction, and we've specified basis Y as the reference direction. We tried basis X, get the same error. Even try basis Z, still get the same error. Well, what could be wrong? Turns out there's nothing wrong with our code here, and we found this out by taking the exact same code that we were, in this case, trying to run in Revit 2014, and instead bring this same model and same code into Revit 2015. What we see is that the same code, but brought into a new version of Revit, actually will give us the correct result. So I'll just come in here, paste in the code, change the direction back to basis Y, because basis Z should not make sense, given that that would be parallel to the normal of the surface. Run the macro, and we can see that the instance was placed. And I'll delete that instance, run the macro again, and there's the newly placed face-based instance. So there was nothing wrong with our code, but in fact it looks like this was a bug in Revit 2014. The moral of the story is that sometimes when you're pulling your hair out about something not working that you think should, try a different version of Revit. Perhaps there was a problem in Revit itself which has been fixed by Autodesk, and you can use this to verify that you're doing everything right that you should be. Now in this case, this means that the chances of finding a solution to get this to work in 2014 are slim, or would require a very different approach, but at least we know that the code was written properly and does work in a version where the Revit API bug was fixed.